Yep. Yes. Good evening, everyone. We're about to start. If you'd like to take your seats, please. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. Sorry for the delay, everyone. We had a little bit of a problem with Zoom and it's updating for some reason. So welcome everyone to the last New South Wales General Meeting. It's great to see you all here. We've got the agenda up here, so just to quickly run through, we've got Tony and Matt are going to do the innovation segments, and then we've got Zach from Steelbin Eltron. It's going to do topic number 1, and then we've got Alan D'Souza that's going to chop up for topic number 2, and finally Dr. Annette Jameson is going to do topic number 3. And by the way, the presentations are spot on tonight. This is like the best presentations I've seen for a long time. You'll be impressed. I was impressed. So as usual, just want to start by saying to acknowledge everyone, our affiliate members. We couldn't do without you, so thank you. Same for our corporate members. Everyone that's corporate members up there. Thank you again. And then to all our members. I think it's a great picture. It's a little bit blurry, but I think that was when Nick became the president back in 2017, was it, roughly? And also would like to recognise the traditional custodians of this land, which we work with and learn and pay respects to others, past and present. So we've got a few special guests here tonight. So starting with Mark Brown. I've not met Mark yet, but I believe Mark is here. Can you put your Mark up, Mark? There he is. So Mark's here from the Master Plumbers. Thanks for coming along, Mark. And we've also got James Milton and Dean Crowe from City Water, I believe. Are you here? Can't see. No. And finally. And we've also got Tom Roberts from the ICC. Welcome, Tom. And also we've got Aidan Mannering is also here as well. Put your hand up, Aidan. Where are you? There he is, right in the middle there. We'll hear a little bit from him later on. So just going to jump straight into it. So this is the update of all the communications that's come out, and we'll touch upon the standards very soon. We thought we'd just take a quick sort of 5 minutes to just update you on what's going on, what's coming up in 2024. So I think we touched upon this before, but it's going to be our 50th, so AKA 5-year anniversary in May next year. And so we've got a little subcommittee organising a dinner or a cocktail function, so that will be very exciting. So watch this space. We're also talking about doing a trade show, and that might be something you might want to talk to later on as well. But that's more about how we can align ourselves more with the plumbers and also the affiliates and also members. Everyone's going to get some out of it, so watch this space. Podcast is coming, and Tom is going to be the first one off the rank. We'll talk about that this afternoon. That's why I was a little bit late. It's your fault, Tom. And also we're going to be doing a newsletter, so it's we're doing a lot of emails that are going out, but we're going to try and sort of group them all together and hit them all at one point, so that it's wrap up for you, so that you can get a summary of what's going on. And then I think Tom touched on this last time, but we're going to sort of create a little young engineers or young fire engineers group as well to encourage the engineers of the future coming through. So if anyone's interested in any of these things, please do reach out. Also, women in hydraulics and fire services, you can tell by the ratio in the room just now, that's very important, and we need to really touch upon that. So we will be doing a few programs on that too. And now, Kate, I'm going to ask you to come up, but there's a reason. So there's we obviously got the standards that are getting updated. You can read that. And we've had 2 emails that have gone out already on this, and so we encourage everyone to obviously read what's happening, what's coming out, and how it can make a difference. You need to make a difference, you know, to what's going on. Otherwise, you'll end up doing something that you don't necessarily agree on. That's what normally happens. Everyone reads these things after they're published. So do get on board. Let's see where it says it is 20th of November. So it's in this month for the ES 3,500 standards. I just want to ask Kate to come up because Kate's been involved with the grease arrestor standards. So maybe Kate gives a little an update on that. Yep.
Hello. Hi. So this draft standard for the grease trap standard is the public comment, sorry, is coming to its 2nd round. So quite unusual. I think this is Standards Australia winner of the How Long Can Standards Last prize. So back open again because there's quite significant changes I think that have been made since the first one. Quite a lot of comments, but from the same people. So if you do get a chance to have a look at it, it will make the standard better. There's some contentious stuff in there, there was about sizing, so definitely worth taking a look at. You've got until the 7th of December. I haven't done it yet either. So join me and we'll do some commenting. Thank you.
Come back, Kate. There's a reason why we did this. So Kate, as you can see, is up the duff. And Kate is going to be, obviously, taking some time out from work. Come stand up. So we just wanted to say thank you to Kate. So Kate's going to actually stepping down from the committee, and she's been excellent. You've done a fantastic job, and you've been a breath of fresh air. Everyone thinks you're brilliant. And we just wanted to give you a token gift of appreciation. But I think if you just wanted to say a few words as to, you know, caught her off balance again, yeah. But I think, how long have you been on the committee for?
Since the inception of the HCAA.
So, yeah, okay, cool. Wow.
5 years.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
5 years, thank you. Well, 2 impromptu topics to talk about tonight then. But yeah, it's just been a real pleasure. Thank you for having me on the as an affiliate member of the committee. And I think just an opportunity for somebody else to kind of step in and bring a new perspective as well. So I guess applications pending. But yeah, thank you guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, Kate. About to embarrass somebody else now. Where is he? Alrighty. So Max is also stepping down. Max has got a new job at KBR. So come up, Max. Oh, sorry, not pointing to you. Sit down. So Max has been looking after the CPD as a CPD champion for quite some time now, and Max has got a new job and has got more commitments as well. So he's going to have to, you know, take some time out, and he's done a great job. And we just wanted to again give you a token of appreciation as well. And do you want to say a few words, Max? No, I think you should. If you don't normally come up, this is your chance.
All right, thanks everybody. It has been good fun, and I've enjoyed it. And thanks for sending through all of your CPD entries for me to have a look at. And I think if anyone is keen to join the committee, it's quite a good one to step into. So please let Paul know if you're keen on taking over. Thanks.
All right, we've got a follow away for you, Max. Just Alrighty, thank you, Max. So like Max said, if anyone's interested in being the CPD champion, please let us know. It's a really good opportunity for you. Alrighty, now I'm going to point to you. So, Aidan, up you come. So, I won't take any sort of limelight off you. Maybe you can just introduce who you are, what you've been doing in the past, and why you're here. Aidan, so over to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks. Let's get this ready. Sorry, everyone. I'd just like to thank Paul, Rod, Nick, who's not here tonight, but I think he's watching. So I haven't met Nick, but hi, and thank you so much. As Paul mentioned, my name's Aidan. I currently work for Steve Adams Plumbing, where we're seen to work on commercial, domestic, and industrial plumbing sites. I began my apprenticeship in 2017, and I've worked with this company since, gaining my Cert 3, Cert 4, along with my Bachelor and Team B certifications. I spent the majority of my childhood on our family property located in a small town of Goulburn, New South Wales, and attended the Redburn Catholic College in Forbes. And I now currently live in Orange with my fiance. I enjoy my current job and the work that I do. However, I am aiming to expand my knowledge and skill set into the hydraulic field. If anyone is interested in pointing me in the right direction or helping me in any way, I think I'm sitting at table 5. Yes, table 5. So please come and have a chat. I'm all ears. Let Paul know. But thank you so much for your time and thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
Thanks, mate. I think some of us have all come through the ranks of being a plumber. I think myself as well, and you need a lucky break sometimes. So, if anyone's interested, do reach out. It's a good opportunity for you and for you guys as well. Alrighty. Make my contact. Well, look at that picture. Okay, I'd like to invite Mitch to come up. Mitch has put across some communications that would be benefit to the industry and to the members. So that'll become Mitch. I'm just going to come up and give you a little bit of a spiel on what this is all about. So welcome to the stage, Mitch, the rock star. I know, pause.
Thank you. And thank you for that stunning photo you found there. Not sure where that came from. Put some notes here, but also forgot my glasses, so might have to get someone to read these notes out for me. Oh, borrow glasses.
No excuses, mate.
I'm selected to do it. It's different. We'll just leave it there. Actually, it's clearer, but might fall over. Anyway, New South Wales government are looking into embedded networks for hot water systems. As you may have heard, you may not have. They're calling this New South Wales Government Embedded Network Action Plan, which sounds great on news articles, I'm sure. They've engaged the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal, IPART, to look into hot water systems, particularly around fees and pricing. You can see probably about the 3rd paragraph down there. There's been a couple of people who've made some complaints, got like a $2,000 bill over a short period. Someone else got a $9,000 bill, and suddenly it's a big problem across the state, obviously. That's going to cost a few $1 million to look into. I'm sure that'll be fun. Anyway, so IPART have been looking into it. The main thing they're looking into is a pricing methodology. Should they prohibit embedded networks for hot water systems? They're also looking at chilled water systems, if anyone's interested in that. And if they don't prohibit them, how can they enforce compliance in whichever system they come up with? So IPART put out a stakeholder engagement survey. They had 85 people respond. probably mainly negative, let's say, probably from those dollars, the dollar figures that they got back. However, they also had people come back and say they don't want it to be completely banned. They just think there should be a better way of doing it. So IPAR have done a stakeholder engagement presentation. There was a bit of a session in about 6 weeks ago. Mainly positive. There's going to be a draft report out from that in November 23, which is now, but November's a pretty long month. I know when I get given a whole month to deliver a report, I don't deliver it on the 1st. If anything, I do deliver it on the 1st, but it's the 1st of December. As long as it's before 9 AM, that'll be fine. So that's probably when it'll come out. And then the final report is due March 24. And there's some embedded networks, providers, I should say, that got some concerns that the government may ban it, but I'd say that's pretty unlikely, seeing the feedback to date from my part. That's about it. Probably just keep across it and let your clients know that there's a very, very small chance that they may not go ahead in the future.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you for this.
Thanks, man. Really have some time. Done deal. Already in a similar vein, just stuff in this space. He's going to swallow. He's going to come on. Come on, Rod. There was Rod Wares, but give us a little bit of an update of what's happening in education. And Stephen as well. You want to come, Stephen? Maybe you can do a joint presentation. Just to have a little update on what's going on. So welcome to the stage, Stephen and Rod, everyone.
Well, it's a tough act to follow when we've had a rock star on the stage, so we'll do our best. In regards to the diploma and education, starting with the TAFE and Rod, first of all, I need to give Rod, before we start, Rod needs a massive round of applause for all the work he's done this year. It does. Being involved in the meetings and the work he does with TAFE, it's remarkable to see how much passion he puts into it. Well done. So in terms of the update, we know at the moment there's roughly 190 or 200 people on the waiting list. TAFE are about to send out an email this week contacting everyone on the waiting list that is due to look at next year's enrolments. We know that some of the people on the waiting list have been on there for a long time, and we believe that some have pursued alternative careers or alternative education. So we're not quite sure exactly how accurate that number is, and we will know that very, very, very soon. One of the biggest challenges to getting people into the diploma, and with the short resources that TAFE has to teach, is the prerequisite of the design units from the design stream of the Cert 4. So as a bit of a progress update, TAFE Queensland has now opened the Cert 4 hydraulic design stream, and we're encouraging members that miss the gap units for the diploma to consider that as an option to get that underway before they commence the diploma. And we also know that PIT and Darren Evans has the Cert 4 and the diploma on scope, and he's working to get that up and running in the new year. So what we're expecting, the course will be a little bit different to the way TAFE structure it. TAFE are running 2 nights a week education with teachers, and there's a bigger program. PIT's offering will be a little bit different, and it's probably more suited to those who have years and years of experience. His module is more self-taught or self-learning, but it is certainly there as an option for people to get the diploma. So what we're expecting is we're anticipating that a certain number of people will enroll in PIT. People that need to do the gap units now have the option to consider TAFE or PIT in the new year, and then that should free up some of the numbers for TAFE, we're anticipating, so that the diploma will run a lot better. Outside of that, the Education Committee has sort of brainstormed and done some workshops on potential courses beyond the diploma with a view to consider something that meets the qualification requirements to do performance solutions. Any questions? Anything I've missed?
No, look, I would only add to that. We had a REAM opening or presentation last week. With refreshing. I came up with Nano Pinto, who many of you may know. He's about 2/3 of his way to his TAE, which was music to my ears. And it's so good to hear that someone's having a crack and getting involved. And I request some of the other consultants in the industry, please do that. We are still after teachers. And that's probably got nothing to do with where you teach. If we now end up with multiple places or RTOs that are going to teach, we still need people to teach, right? People that are going to teach are the consultants that are in our association. So that's one. I think, yeah, I think Steve's covered just about everything else. Everything's going well. Not sure exactly how long it will take to refine this wait list. I don't necessarily want to see people leave or before they even enter the hydraulic industry, they go do something else, but completely understand why they might, given that's been a long, slow road to get into the diploma. At the end of the day, we're trying to teach or educate as many students as we can. I just don't like really having that wait list there. I feel like that's a frustration that sort of hangs over me, and TAFE feels the same. They don't necessarily want to do that. Their hands are tied because they don't have teachers, right? So we'll still get through as many as you can. I think, you know, PIT's offering is welcome in the fact that it certainly will be able to get a few of those people off that list, get their qualification, be able to sign stuff off. That's the main thing, right? We need that bit of paper, get registered, whether it's registered certifier or design practitioner. That's the bit of paper there. So I think what Darren's doing is good. I don't know if it will suit everyone. It is slightly different method of delivery, but look, if we can tackle that as a couple of different RTOs, that's awesome overall, and hopefully get rid of that wait list. And then we get juniors coming through that just say, hey, go sign up here. Yeah.
Rod, can I ask you, can you let everybody know in 60 seconds what you've got about teaching? 60 seconds.
60 seconds. Look, I love it. I really do. It's been something I've thought about since I was in high school. I wanted to be a woodshop teacher. So it was always kind of in the background. Finally figured I probably know enough about plumbing that I can pass that on, but it is rewarding. Like, you know, people talk about giving back. I think, yes, that's a part of it. Yes, we need to educate our juniors, but it is rewarding and is quite satisfying to see people from your class, and then they start coming to these meetings and they start asking questions. You're like, you wouldn't have asked that 6 months ago. And you see the goals working and the lines debating. Like it's nice. Yeah, and so again, yeah, please, if you're remotely interested in teaching and passing on information, let me know if you can, or certainly point in the right direction. I do have a few other people that have offered interest. Paul Catley is one who gave me a call and said that he might be keen in the next couple of years. I do have a question.
Explain what PIT is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so sorry, PIT is Pacific Institute of Technology. I hope I got that right. But Darren Evans is one of the members. They've been teaching the fire services diploma for, I guess, probably 10 or 15 years. Darren would have to quantify that. But yeah, they've been around for a long time, and they've, to his credit, when we started doing this collaboration with TAFE, he sort of said, all right, well, I'll sit back, and he didn't want to sort of to be seen as stealing students, given there was this HCAA TAFE collaboration. And I think after a while, and we've had this continued long list, he's kind of said, all right, well, look, as an RTO, we're keen to help out. Obviously, you know, it's good for his business as well, but at this point, we kind of need it, I think. So yeah, I think they're in the city somewhere. I don't even know where they're
Alexandria.
located.
Alexandria.
Alexandria. There we go. So quite central for anyone interested, if that's what you want to take up.
And also the
Question, I'll get it out, what's the cost of doing the diploma?
The costs, look, I haven't looked it up for a little while. I know when I did some documents a while ago, it was 28,000 if you're paying full fee.
correct.
Subsidised, but if you are living and working in New South Wales, the subsidies took it down to about 7,800. I think it was around about.
We're calling it an even 8, but yeah.
Around about 8.
Yeah.
If you're outside of the state, unfortunately, you don't get that subsidy. If you're living just over the border, you might be able to wing it by saying you live at a mate's place or something.
But that also depends on whether you need to do the unit for Cert 4 as well. Oh my God, is there a microphone here too?
Yeah.
We also have, there's a lot of the people that have come through from the Cert 4 pathway. So they already have their operation stream, and there's a course code ending in 912 or 920. If you did the course in the last couple of years and you finished 920, you're already eligible to go straight into the diploma. So the answer to that question, it really depends on what the individual has already studied, when they studied it, whether they need to do the whole Cert 4 or just some of those competencies. But full ticket is about 28.
It's like 912.
12, yes.
Is the 2012 version of the course. There are basically 2 units that you need to do. So one is got to do with regulatory codes and standards. The other one, that's the only one you have to do. The other unit is AutoCAD, and it sits in both courses. From what TAFE is doing at the moment, they're asking people to do both of those units before you get into the diploma, and it makes your entry into the diploma a lot smoother. Because you'll be asked to use AutoCAD to start doing assessments pretty much straight away.
So with the multiple, as PIT opens up, and I would be encouraging a lot of individuals to look into it or to reach out to one of us to work out where they're at. A lot of the people on the waiting list are waiting for TAFE to tell them what they need to do. And I think there's an opportunity now for people to consider doing the gap units elsewhere and getting ready for the diploma as it rolls out.
We have one question online from Josh Group, and Josh is asking, what is the correct pathway to be qualified to teach? Currently, I'm assuming this is what he's saying. He's got no Cert 4 training and assessment courses taken enrollments. Is that right?
Yeah. No, the training and assessment. So one, you have to hold the diploma yourself. You have to be able to have the diploma to be able to teach the diploma. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's the rule. The other part of that is the TAE. So there's
So we need to
40116 was the old course, which is the one I just completed. If you enroll now, I think it's now TAE 40120 is the most recent version of that course. Typically, like there's probably about, I guess, 20 RTOs in Australia that offer it. There's a variety. You can do it in, the shortest one I saw was 3 5-day block. If you can take the time out of your consultancy work to do that, I don't think many can. Alternatively, a lot of them are spread out over a year. You attend workshops or lessons, and you've got 12 months to finish the assessments and get it all in. Yeah.
There's also the paid to learn.
Taken to one. Yeah, TAFE, good point. TAFE does have some paid to learn stuff at the moment. Send out an email on LinkedIn. At the moment, it's only for full-time positions, not part-time positions, but that may change, so keep an eye on that. Thank you.
Excellent update. Thank you, Stephen and Rod. Big round of applause. You didn't think you'd go through this without getting a picture, didn't you? So just wanted to give you a quick update on how we're collaborating with other industry associations. So Tom Wise, everyone knows, has also been teaching in a different capacity. So Tom's been teaching the hydraulics course for SIPSI. And so that was what was it, last month, Tom? Last month? Yeah. And that was very successful, and there's an array of different, it wasn't actually hydraulic engineers as such, or hydraulic consultants, wasn't it? It was a mixture of builders and mechanical. Do you want to talk, or? Yeah. Like the puppet master.
Yeah, so SIPS is running a training package for anybody who's interested. It was generally aimed and designed for grads, building services people, anybody in any sort of engineering field, and including those people on site, from project managers to people who deliver services. So this is the New South Wales one. The New Zealand ones run of recent as well, along with Melbourne being 6th and 7th of December, and then a 7th and 8th. Oh, sorry, yeah, 7th and 8th, and then a few more through Brisbane, the South Australia, and Western Australia as well. And Paul dug up a crazy photo. This was me in about 2010. I stepped off an aeroplane, gone to my sister's house to put on a suit to go to a job interview at what was at that time Warren Smith and Partners. So yeah, I got somehow still there today. Institutionalized, but who knows.
And also as well, we just want to highlight that we've been collaborating with SIPSI and Sophie for a long time. And there's also a discount if you've got anybody interstate. The next one's in Melbourne, but we're doing, like Tom said, we're doing them interstate. And there's a 20% discount that Emily will send an email about in the next few days. So if you're interested, or if you've got people interstate, do let us know. Just wanted to quickly highlight that Neil Savory and Tom Roberts are part of the ICC, and Dave Wood, myself and Tom caught up with the team from America. I think it was the 6th of November, Monday the 6th of November. So we had a really good meal, really good collaboration, and there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that we'll be talking about next year. So watch this space. Kind of keep moving.
I sit on the ICC, which is the International Codes Council. So I sit on 815, which is the water, drainage, and vent sizing. So the ICC is obviously an international code used across not just the US in different states, but also Africa, some parts of Southeast Asia, and the like. So they sort of teamed up with University of Miami and putting together a bit of research to pull together a standard for design to better inform pipe diameters and equipment sizes. So if anybody's sort of interested to feedback, I'm happy to take some feedback from Australia to take back to the international group that I sit on there if I can be of any support. And if you're interested in an update, you can tap me on the shoulder. I'm happy to talk about it as well. Thanks.
And again, we're talking to industry as well, so across these, like ASPE and also SIPSI and Sophie as well. Alrighty, and we go to a little bit of a somber subject. All right, so just to quickly debrief, we just want to highlight that when you register for these events, your attendance isn't mandatory or required in terms of CPD points. You won't get CPD points just by registering, is what I'm trying to say. So you have to come, you have to get ticked off at the front door. You probably notice when you get a name badge, Emily or Kate will tick you off. But we do get charged for no-shows. And so if you're not going to be able to, we understand if you can't make it, that's fine. People, you've got lives, right? And you've got work commitments and stuff. But give that ticket to someone else. give it to someone else in your organization, or phone us or email us and just tell us, because we'll get charged. So we don't necessarily dwell on it, but we just want to let everybody know it costs us money sometimes to do these things. That's all I'm going to say. Alrighty, bit of fun. So we're back to around the bend. So what are plumb? So what do you see here? That's perfectly normal, right? Isn't it? What do you think? The tongue quivering in the background. We've got a few of these. It works. I hear someone say it's working. Yeah. What I love about this one is the camouflage. The camouflage just there of this slab. Do you see it? I think that's brilliant. Big afterthought. This one takes a little bit of working out, so you can't see it properly, but there's also another roof up there that is coming, the pipe's coming down and flowing into the gutter, and then across the downpipe, which is pretty ingenious, I guess. Yeah, I guess. So yeah, I don't know what to say about this. In an emergency, you've got to break the lock, right? Can't see, I don't know. It's what it is. See what you see. It's a small bath, isn't it? What happens when you slide out of the bath and go down the stairs, or you don't even go down the stairs? Oh, fine. Similar. A lot happening here as well. So plant room, ingenious janitor or something. I don't know. Maintenance man. It's probably Dave Salina's favorite subject. What about that from Accelerator? I found the next one last night, and I actually said it to Tom. That's your next project, mate. But guess what? Guess what's coming next? This time last year. You hear about that? Alrighty, just a little bit of fun there. Okay, so just wanted to sort of mention as well, if anyone's going interstate, we've up November's a busy month, obviously. In the next few weeks, we have meetings in Adelaide, Tassie, and Canberra. So if you're interested in going down there, or you have industry colleagues from your same organization, do get them along, and we'd appreciate that. That'd be great. Love this. Alrighty, so we're making good time, and we're going to get everybody on their feet. Get on your feet. So there's a lot of people here, or there's a few people here for the first time, and we're going to do maybe 2 or 3 minutes just to get to know each other. So just get up off your feet, go somewhere else, talk to someone you don't know, and the theme is, what is your go-to karaoke anthem? It doesn't matter, you can talk to anybody and just ask them the questions. Go for it. Already, switch, go somewhere else, talk to someone else, go on. Switch, don't stand still. Talk to someone else quick. It's all about meeting someone else, come on. A lot of affiliates here, I want to know who you are. Okay, we're going to wrap up in 30 seconds. Already. Everyone can sit back down again. The final countdown. Come on, sit down. Back on your seats, please. We're going to start again. There's so much going on. Come on. Wait. Sit down. We're done. You can talk later. Okay, wrap it up, please. How'd you find that? Is it good? We've done that for a while, right? So what was your karaoke tune, Tom?
Well, Tom wasn't, I did, what was it, Beds Are Burning in Belgium, which I think we need to practice a bit more and when we come back and maybe try it.
I'm not familiar with that one. How's that one go?
Save that for the then.
I think my rock star thing. What was the tune of choice here?
Better the Hill.
How does that one go?
Give me the rest of the band and get straight on it.
I know someone who likes to sing. Oh, yes. What did you say to me? I would love to go and do some karaoke. Anyway, I won't embarrass anyone, but I hope everyone's found that a little bit fun. It's just about getting to know each other, and we're all friends here, so it's a friendly atmosphere. So we're going to crack on. And we're going to go to the innovation segment. So the innovation segments again are something that's pretty new, or we've been doing it for a wee while now, but and this is just a quick snapshot, and I'm looking at Matt's going to say that because Matt's got like 45 slides. I'd like to invite Mark Rains to the stage. So give a big round of applause for Mark. He's going to give a bit of spiel on what's going on with doing.
Right there, up there. Boom.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Mark Rains is my name. I'm standing in tonight for Troy Creighton, our Managing Director. I'm National Sales Manager. In terms of innovation, great opportunity tonight for us to show you 2 new products. How are we going on the presentation? Should be with Emily. Huh? Sorry, I thought you guys were doing that. Okay, sorry about that. On your table, you'll find a small sample. This product is called Wave. Just received a Good Design Award just recently. It's our first aluminium grade. Stormtech's synonymous with 316 stainless steel product. This product is 3 years in the making. Australian materials, mined, refined, designed, manufactured in Nowra, South Coast, New South Wales. The idea behind Wave and the design was to eliminate the end user perception about soap scum, body hair, etc., being visible through our standard linear grates. So when you're standing above in the shower, above the wave, you don't see anything underneath. It still moves the same amount of water as our traditional and popular architectural grates, 4 litres a second per metre, and has a few other factors that are leading to a lot of success. Available in 3 colours: silver, black, and there's a brass gold floating around in some samples. Thank you. Perhaps a little bit strong in colour, in depth, the brass gold. We probably need to tone that back a bit. Certainly the silver and the black is getting a lot of interest. It's being specified into a lot of projects, not only just for bathroom drainage, but for externals, thresholds, etc. So that's Wave. Second product, I don't have in front of you. There is a larger sample on the back corner desk. It's called the shower screen support. This is a game breaker. Been getting a lot of orders, a lot of specification, apartments, bathrooms. The premise behind the shower screen support, it takes the water flow on both sides of the shower glass. Okay, so it eliminates the need for a second outlet in the middle of the bathroom floor. Less tiling, less plumbing, saves money on installation. This is being supported by a lot of large-scale projects. Richard Crooks, Lend-Lease, Parkview, all getting behind this product. Uh, 3 metres, yeah. Yep. Can do the whole length. Yep. Yep. So bit heavy with the tile insert. It's available in tile insert or with any of our standard grate designs on top. Okay. Flow rate guides are available on all our products on our website. I've got some printed copies on that back desk if needed. I've already handed a few out here tonight to people interested. And I hope I haven't overstepped my mark with the 5-minute barrier.
Perfect, mate. Perfect.
Contact us. Okay. Through Emily, I'll leave some cards here also. All right. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Alrighty, and just as they're taking the food out, we can probably quickly do this. We've got a lot of goodies to give away tonight. I mean, there's maybe everyone should come up and tell me what's in these bags. But we've got a few things going to happen tonight, and we're probably going to do this a few times to try and dissipate all the gifts. But we're going to do a quick heads or tails, just as if who's coming at great timing. Yeah. Okay, everyone get their feet quick. On your feet. Only if you can accept gifts. Alrighty, first question will be really quick with this. We'll probably do this a few times. I've got like a lot of questions. Okay, everyone listening? Everyone knows how to play heads or tails, yeah? Yeah? Okay, a cross between a horse and a zebra is called a hobra. True or false, heads or tails? A hobra. Heads or tails?
It's true.
Yes. Yeah. All right, everyone selected? It's false. A male zebra and a female horse is called a zorse, would you believe? And a female zebra and a male horse is called a zonkey. So there you go. All right, so everyone feels we only 2 people. All right, I'm gonna call Tommy. Tommy, down straight away. All right. Fish cannot blink. Heads or tails? True or false? Fish cannot. You're just sitting down. Fish cannot blink. All selected? It's true. Sit down. Sticking to fish. Goldfish have a 2-second memory. Heads or tails? That's like back up. Goldfish have a 2-second memory. It's false. Look, a few people are impressed. Alrighty, we're going to get a little bit more technical. So there are 2 parts of the body that cannot heal themselves. Is that true or is it false? There are 2 parts of the body. Okay, major selections. It's actually false. There's only one. Teeth. You can't heal your teeth. Okay, sticking to teeth. Human teeth are just as strong as the teeth of a mature shark. Heads or tails? Let's say it again. Human teeth are just as strong as the teeth of a mature shark. Oh. We've got a winner. Now, I'm not too sure how we're going to do this. I mean, are this just up for grabs? Does anyone, if I just like pick one or I'm going to pick this one? Where's Matt? Matt, what's in here, man?
Mega pack.
A mega pack. Or do you want to select? Maybe you should let everyone select. Is that the better way to do it? There's actually some really good gifts up here. I was looking at this one. I quite fancy this one. Oh, you're taking that. Okay. Krista Benedex has done a lovely platter, so congratulations, well done. You'll be glad to know that I have got a lot more questions on that, so we'll do it again. We've got a lot of guests, I was expecting all that. Alrighty, so now I'm going to ask Matt to come up. Please welcome Matt Lloyd from Rehab, everybody.
Which one? Clicky. Yeah. That one? You can see. Yeah. You want this? Yeah. Was that working? Yep. Okay. Okay. I think Mark only went for 2 minutes, so I get an extra 2 thrown on this. I suppose there's that extra time there, Paul. Thanks. Okay, it's not about company or more about product and innovation, but this does lead me into the fact that ironically, when the Germans come out to visit us, and Christoph's here tonight with us, so thanks for joining us. So Christoph Strauler. But we do laugh in Australia about when the Germans come out, because we love our plumbing here with Rehab. However, around the world, there's a multitude of companies, big companies that we work for and supply plastic polymers for, and have done pretty much since the end of World War II. So And it's that innovation that I've come to know over the last 18 months working for Rehau that I find very interesting. Plumbing products, as you can see there. I just want to take you back a step to our what we call Rail Titan, which has been in Australia for just over 32 years. There was a jointing method which required expanding of the PEX-A pipe. Very innovative in its day, and still is probably first choice of plumbers for their own homes and for large projects. Rehau could see that they needed to keep up with the times with all sorts of different jointing methods coming through the market. So what's new in this space? Edge. It's called Rehau Edge. It was born out of a development called Fastlock in Germany in 2022. It has the same PEX-A quality that we've had in Australia for the last 32 years. However, it does have some differences. As you can see, it's an SDR9 and a PM16, which obviously is an indicator that the pressures and the temperatures are different, and more than happy to come and talk to you guys about that in more detail. What we're telling you is that expansion is now gone. It's an insert, a slide, and a compression that plumbers are used to and like as a secure system. Local training and industry support continues as it always has in this area. Here we've got an example of our display at Multiplex in their Centre of Excellence, where we work with the Multiplex site engineers to explain to them. Beyond the hydraulic engineers and the plumbers, it's good that the site engineers understand the correct installation methods. Now, there should have been a drum roll right now for Paul, but this is really innovative for Rehau. We have a piping system for those that don't know, it's called Rail Piano. It's a multi-layered polypropylene system. A lot of herbs and spices go into this. We are localizing our manufacturing of that and are now supplying the market as of 2 months here in Australia. It is produced here in New South Wales in a secret location down in the Southern Highlands, which you all may have already worked out. We're in conjunction with a producer that's already working out of the Southern Highlands. And we may be looking at doing some possible factory tours, but I'll talk to Christoph about that. But look, localized production here in New South Wales is really, really big for us. We're importing this pipe, and the pandemic made us realise that pipe in containers was an expensive way of bringing in this unique pipe that's able to cover both domestic acoustic drainage systems as well as trade waste. And to support that, to support the system, we have certification and reports. We have testing data that we'd like to share with you in more detail when it's not quite 4 minutes, so we have to get through the slides. Acoustic reports, plenty of case studies throughout New South Wales and Australia, with benefits to the builder and to the building site itself. And a big one at the moment is reduced exposure to hazardous glues and primers. With so much focus on health and hazards within the industry, we do find this quite a big topic when we're explaining what this system capabilities are. Ideal for trade waste, Rail Piano trade waste explanations for various applications for the tradies. Temperature range fully explained. This is all information I can go into detail on my next visit to see you. working with big players like Woolworths and Coles. Ticks all the boxes, and please contact me for further details.
Thank you, mate. All right, we're gonna keep going. Alrighty, I'm going to invite Zach Kerr from Steve Electron to take the stage. We're going to go straight into it. So welcome to the stage, Zach. Big round of applause, everyone.
That doesn't look quite right. There should be an image there that looks really, really cool and you'd really like it. My name's Zach. I'm from Stiebel Eltron. Stiebel Eltron is a German company that specializes in, Sean, why you take a photo of that? That's not relevant. We specialize in renewable heating, hot water, and home comfort products. Today, I just want to have a bit of a chat about our electric instantaneous range of hot water systems. It's not a product that we've done a lot of in new construction in New South Wales, but it's probably our highest turnover product in Australia by quite a high margin. So Stiebel Eltron, we really believe in sustainable comfort and comfort through technology. And further from that, we really believe that electricity is the energy source of the future. If you look back across the Stiebel Eltron's history, we've been around for 100 years next year. We've been making heat pump technology since the mid-70s. It's quite interesting once you get into it. When the first oil crisis hit Europe is why we got into the products. A lot of our competitors sort of transitioned back to fossil fuels, and we decided to stick with electricity. So we really know how the products work, and we really know how to make them stack up in cold climates. Primarily, we are focused on residential offerings, but we have quite a large product offering that we sell into commercial applications, and it's really a growing part of what we do. We've just completed a job recently down in the ACT, which consisted of 6 100 kilowatt ground source heat pumps, delivering at peak 500 kilowatts worth of cooling and 300 kilowatts worth of heating. So there's really, really cool projects we've been a part of in Australia recently. The company itself, we've got 5,000 employees worldwide. Most of those are in our own production facilities. Stiebel Eltron sells the products that we actually produce ourselves. We don't buy something and rebadge it. We make our own products. Last year was the first year the company actually turned over €1 billion. This year, next year, 2024, the budget is actually looking a lot higher than that. Really interesting thing about that is the company is still family owned, and a big chunk of that billion euro turnover is being reinvested back into the company. Right now, if I change it around a bit, the company's spending something like 1 billion Australian dollars in production facilities around the world, primarily in Europe. We do have some production facilities in Asia as well, primarily just to increase the production of our products because there's such a demand for electric energy efficient products in the market at the moment. So made by Stiebel Eltron. Most of the guys I know in the room here will know us for our domestic hot water appliances. We have been making those for 100 years next year. So if anyone's going to be in Germany next year, you're welcome to go to our 100-year celebration in Germany. I don't know if I've got the authorization to invite you there, but come along. We will be having a few parties around Australia for that as well. We're going to be having a really cool large party down in Melbourne where our head office is located. But later in the presentation, we will be having some parties in our showroom here in Sydney as well. We've been making heat pump appliances for nearly 50 years, and 25 years of ventilation experiences. Did some numbers earlier. The product I'm talking about today, our electric instantaneous range, we've been making that for 74 years. And the current iteration of the product, we've actually been making that for since 1987, so older than me. There we go. So primarily, as I said, you guys will know us for our domestic hot water range. That really makes up the bulk of what we do here in Australia. In Europe, we are more known for our heating appliances. We make some really, really cool products in the heat pump range. We can do in our air to water heat pumps up to about 200 kilowatt outputs. temperature outputs of up to 75 degrees. But in our ground source range, we're starting to do some really, really cool projects where we can actually deliver up to something crazy like 1.7 megawatts, 65-degree flows, and up to 85 degrees domestic hot water through a de-superheater function. Some smaller product groups, we are doing a lot in the ventilation space for high efficiency builds, and we're also doing a lot of small room heaters for cash and carry products as well. But today, I just want to have a bit of a chat about our decentralized hot water range. I think everyone in the room probably knows a little bit about what we do. And as I said, it's our highest turnover product in the country by far. So really quickly, we make two main models in that space. We make our DHE AU unit in two different sizes, an 18 and 27 kilowatt unit. One of the big things you'll see with German companies, they love calling everything the same acronyms and start calling them the same product codes. Now, we make this in two different capacities. The great thing about I refer to this as our commercial hot water range, is it's up to 60 degrees output. And this unit will actually sacrifice flow for temperature. So it's great for commercial applications where a fixed temperature is actually required. This product is made by us in our factories in Germany, and it now comes with a 7-year full parts and labour domestic warranty. We actually upped that recently. Main reason being is in our product mix, we very rarely see issues with it. So we thought we better increase the warranty for that for the market. From there, we actually have our DEL range. As I said, the Germans love calling everything the same acronyms. The DEL Plus range comes in a couple of different sizes. We assist with the specifications. So we'll be wandering around. We're over here on table 6. Sean wanted me to make a joke about the fact that no one's sitting with us. So if anyone wants to come and say hello, we'd really appreciate that. This presentation, I should have said earlier, is a bit of a brief version of what we offer in our showroom and in consultants' offices. I did some numbers today. We've done this presentation about 100 times in our showroom in Sydney. We've only been there for about 12 months. It's really cool. This unit, we refer to it more as our residential unit, mainly because it's a 50-degree output unit, so it's fully compliant with 50-degree requirements for sanitary fixtures. Same as the previous model, it's made by us in Germany. We don't buy it from anyone else. We make it, we sell it, and it's got a full 7-year parts and labour warranty. So I've tried to keep this brief. I don't want to bore anyone. I just want to really get to the nitty and gritty here. So probably the six big selling features for a decentralized approach for hot water is we can save space in the building. We can remove the need for plant space. We can remove the need for flow and returns in the building. All you sacrifice is about the size of a shoebox in each apartment. On-demand supply, we're starting to do a lot more these days in the build-to-rent space. That's a huge growing market in Australia. If you speak to any of the builders in the ACT, they'll say that they've been doing it for 30 years, just on the smaller scale. But the great thing for build to rent, our products offer on-demand supply. The end user only pays for the water they use. They're not paying for some sort of made-up amount of a centralized approach, which is great. Energy savings, the customer only pays for what they actually use in the building. Flex in accurate billing, same thing, they only pay for what they use. Now, point of use, generally, when we specify a building, we can get away with 1 unit per apartment, but there's a lot of applications where we might decentralize and even go for a couple of units, especially in the commercial space where there's different temperature outputs required and just different varieties of appliances we need to feed water to. And really important to a lot of the builders and developers we deal with, we can assist with staged handover. The whole system doesn't need to be delivered to site in one delivery. Most of the jobs we do will get delivered to site in 3, 4, 5 sort of lots at a time. So a very similar slide. I don't know why I've got this in your slide, but the great thing for a decentralized approach is it's a compact design. We deal with a lot of architects that prefer how small our systems are, and we do a lot of hybrid approaches where we might look at a class 1 dwelling rather than class 2, where we'll integrate an electric instantaneous project an electric instantaneous hot water system with a hot water heat pump. Reason being, we can eliminate the need for a constant flow and return in the building. The great thing with electric instantaneous as well, it's a very small footprint. It doesn't take up a lot of space. There's no ventilation, there's no safe tray, and there's no fluing required on the units. They can really hide away. Most of the installations we do, I took the photo of this one, I probably should have left it here, but most of the installations we do, the units are located in the laundry in the apartment. Most apartments these days are having a hidden European laundry to minimize space. The unit will normally go above the wash basin inside there. The advantage of that is it really reduces the dead legs to the apartment. So you turn the tap on in the bathroom, you get hot water straight away. You turn the tap on in the kitchen straight away, you get hot water straight away as well. Now, I normally make a few jokes here about engineers in the room will know more about this than I do. I'm a salesperson, but when we're comparing electric instantaneous decentralized to a central plant approach, there's a few main differences that you'll see on the building. So looking at a standard sort of apartment block central plant, there's going to be cold water coming into the building. That cold water is going to head to the plant space, either in the basement or on the roof of the building. Then you're going to have a flow and return from that plant space to every room, to every apartment in the building. That apartment's going to have a cold water, a hot water meter, and an electrical meter in it. Moving to a decentralized approach, some of the big advantages we can highlight is you're still going to have cold water coming to the building. That's obviously a requirement, but we only need to provide a hot water feed into each apartment. Each apartment will be responsible for their own hot water, and we can actually then free up a lot of space in the apartment. So a lot of the projects we've been a part of utilize that space for a solar PV setup. That solar PV setup will offset the return on investment for the apartment and make it a cheaper building to occupy. Normally chuck in a joke there as well, if anyone in the room's from Canberra, that we actually did a job in Queanbeyan where they actually used this approach, removed central plant, put electric instantaneous in, freed up the space on the roof and turned that into a rooftop bar. I don't know anyone in Canberra that would want to actually go to Queanbeyan for a rooftop bar, but it was something we could achieve. Now, I've got a couple of slides here for model data for what are we actually looking at comparing a central plant approach to a decentralized sort of system. Now, what you can actually look at is when you heat up a body of water, it will always take the same amount of energy to heat that body of water up. The difference is how you produce that energy and the way that that's used to heat that body of water up. But the water itself will always take the same amount of energy to heat the water up. Now, the advantage of a decentralized approach is you're not having any heat loss from a ring main in the system. You're only heating up the water you need for the apartment with a small amount of energy loss in the system. With any form of centralized system, there's going to be a huge amount of heat loss in the system. And model data, we've got a bit of a case study here, 40 apartments, 70 litres of hot water required per apartment. So we're assuming about 2 people per apartment. You're actually going to lose almost the same amount of energy in the ring main to what you actually lose by people using hot water in the apartment. So interestingly enough, if you look at maybe a brand new apartment or a hotel or something that doesn't have 100% occupancy, you're always going to reduce the amount of energy used to heat the water up, but you're still going to have the same energy loss in the ring main system. So because of this, we're doing a lot of work now with hotels, boarding houses, accommodation blocks for sort of universities where they want an approach where they don't need to keep the system running constantly, and the end user only paying for the actual hot water they use. Now, a couple of sort of snapshots of some advantages of decentralized compared to centralized. So pipework, as I've already mentioned, only cold water feed is required for each apartment. There's no need for cold water and hot water meters for the apartment. Running costs, the end user will only pay for what they use. They're not paying for a share of the apartment in the building. So I always refer that to, if I'm in my apartment, I don't shower, my bills are going to be a lot cheaper than someone next door that's using water all day. Opposed to in a centralized plant, it's going to not work out exactly the same. Tempering valves, there's less maintenance required because, as I mentioned, we have a specialized unit with an output of 50 degrees for sanitary fixtures, meaning there's no need for a tempering valve or a TMV. Compared to a central plant, you're going to need a TMV or a tempering valve required for each dwelling. Roof space, we can free up the roof space or the plant room space, which can either be used for another car spot or PV on the roof, or as I mentioned, a rooftop bar in Queanbeyan. Now, resident billing, the end user will pay for exactly what they're using. Handover, this is really important, as I said, for the builders and developers we deal with. They can just get the units they required for each floor delivered to site, which improves cash flow. And the last 2 points there, environmental impact. There's no exhaust fumes. That's comparing to a gas central plant. The unit will hide away in the apartments. And with redundancies, the great thing with a decentralized approach is there's 1 unit per apartment. If something goes wrong with it, only that one apartment is affected. I've been on site with a service agent before when a unit legitimately was faulty and had to be swapped over. He had the unit swapped over in 5 minutes flat. So it's great for applications where hot water is definitely a important in the building. Now, last couple of slides, I just wanted to highlight, we have done a lot of projects with these apartments across Australia. Our two largest projects, our two largest areas where we do projects are in Queensland and the ACT, two completely different climates. Queensland, the argument can be made that you don't need a lot of hot water because it's already hot up there. But the ACT, the incoming water temperature is conservatively 4 degrees colder on average than Sydney. Now, Malabar, I don't know if any, I'm guessing people in the room will know Canberra, but Malabar is probably one of our largest projects we've done in Canberra. It's 226 apartments. This job was completed in 2018. Primarily, it's our 50-degree unit with a couple of 60-degree units in there for cleaner sinks. And it's just one unit. It's just one unit per apartment, which is probably how we get away with 99% of the projects we work on. I've got this one in here. This is Rockwell in Bruce. This one was an interesting project because we're seeing a shift in the market where we're doing a lot more class 2 townhouse blocks at the moment. Primarily, Stiebel Eltron's solution for this would have been a freestanding hot water heat pump, but that takes up space, and a lot of these builders and developers are more concerned with selling the real estate and selling the square meterage of the project. So if we can move to a decentralized electric instantaneous approach, it worked out better in that application. Not as efficient as a heat pump, but great solution anyway. I've got 2 projects to show. We are doing jobs in New South Wales and we are getting a lot more inquiries for this product group. So the Foundry up in Adamstown was a really, really cool project we're a part of. This project was done with a commercial plumber that I've done a lot of work with down in the ACT called D Group. They basically said, we don't want to do a centralized approach in Newcastle. We use your decentralized units down in the ACT. We've never had an issue with them, so we want to do it up here as well. So successfully assisted with that one to get it through BASIX and speak with the electrical engineers on that one. And that job was now done 2 years ago. Further than that, we've got, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. If someone can tell me how this is pronounced, please come and tell me. But the Glen Neon up in Belrose was probably one of the more recent ones we've completed this year. This was done with Lend-Lease Retirement, now known as Keaton, with 55 of our electric instantaneous hot water systems. And then just to show the complete other end of the spectrum, this is the largest project we've been a part of in Australia. It's the Vogue Apartments down in Victoria. I don't know anything about Victoria, so I don't know where that is, but it's in Victoria somewhere. It's got roughly about 500 apartments with a mixture of 2 of our different sized hot water systems in it. And then further than that, we're actually doing a lot more in the commercial space as well. So I don't know if you guys know where the Brexham Hotel is over in Mascot. This one was pretty cool. It's owned by the guy that owns Rex Airlines. He was sick of his flight crew and pilots paying for accommodation, so he actually decided to build a hotel, and that's actually fitted out with 152 of our electric instantaneous hot water systems. Going back to what I said earlier, one of the big driving factors was when it's not 100% occupancy, they wanted to reduce the running costs of the building and reduce the need for flow and returns inside the building. Last one in there as well is a really, really cool commercial project we've done up in Brisbane. Brisbane's a really interesting market for it. It's one of our strongest markets. Now, this building was actually specified initially with I don't know the number, but 50-litre electric storage tanks all the way through the building. That's definitely an approach. We decided to value engineer the project and say, hey, why don't you go an electric instantaneous solution? This is going to reduce your running costs from 15 to 20% inside the building. We actually just treated it like a decentralized approach where we actually went 2 units doing 3 floors. So in that photo there, 1 unit with a TMV is doing disability compliant bathrooms, that for the one above and the one below. The unit next to it is actually doing 4 basins female, 4 basins female on that floor, the same one above, the same one below. And then there's actually a few of our single phase units in there, just doing kitchenettes. Now, I said I was going to be quick, so I've got 2 more slides for you about us in Stiebel Eltron in Australia. The company's been around for almost 30 years in Australia. We started as a sort of like an agency to Germany. And then 2012, Germany went, hey, these guys are the fastest growing subsidiary in the world, so we better buy them back while we still can. So the company was bought back by Stiebel Eltron in 2012. Currently, we've got close to 50 employees in the country. We're small, but we're growing quickly because there's a huge demand in Australia for energy efficient appliances. Last slide. Please, last slide. There we go, last slide. No, not that last slide, the second last slide. So last slide, I think a lot of you in the room have been to our showroom. We've just moved into about 18 months ago, we moved into a new showroom in Piedmont. Really, really cool fit out. We've got our appliances on the wall working. So we'd really encourage you to come and have a look at them. Come and speak to us. We can show you how the products work, how they operate. And probably a better selling feature to you, we've got about 8 pubs within walking distance to us. And further than that, there's a couple of really cool restaurants in here. So we'd really love you to come to the showroom, come and speak to us. We offer a full longer presentation that we'd also love to speak to electrical engineers about and tell you how there's another solution. We think we're a great solution. We think we're another solution that we can really assist with in projects. We'd love you to come and speak to us and see how we can assist your next projects. But that's us. That's me. Please reach out to something I can assist with.
Excellent, thank you, Zach. Has anyone got any questions for Zach? You go back, you just press the button then. Go back.
Oops. There we go. That's me.
Any
That's not
questions?
me.
Oh, we've got questions online.
Maybe.
We're running across.
It was I have to get it to you. It was I'll find out. I'll come back to you. I was like,
Okay. Commercial developments, are there diversity calculations available that can be provided to assist with electrical loads?
yeah, definitely. So right now, residential's easy because table C1 of AS 3000 spells out exactly what's required. Table C2, which is the commercial table, is a little bit more difficult to run over, but there's actually clause 2.2.2, which actually talks about alternative pathways to specifying buildings. And one of them in there that we talk about is just probability simultaneous demands. You just work backwards from it and look at, well, if there's 10 showers going, you're not going to have 100 hot water systems turning on. So yes, we can assist with that. We just need to know the number of fixtures inside the building, and we can work backwards from that and then give you the data that you need for it.
Any other questions? Alrighty, big round of applause for Zach. Thank you, mate. Move swiftly along. That's it. Okay. So that is going to come to the stage. So big round of applause for Alan. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Alan De Souza. I'm the healthcare manager for Enware Australia. So we've got a slightly different tack to the previous presentations, but in the past 12 months, if I'd like to ask, have any of you or your family members gone into hospital or under the knife in hospital? And it's always a challenging time. If so, you probably use many of these taps. Nearly every clinical procedure which takes place in a hospital requires the delivery of safe, healthy water. What may come as a surprise to you is that these taps could have been helped to save lives, the life of yourself or your family. So the reason taps are so critical is that they play a role in the broader health, the broader water risk management plan, with the power to protect patients and clinicians, as well as enhance the end user experience. You or your friends or family can have a better journey to recovery if there is a water risk management plan in place. To minimise the health risk, to reduce the length of stay, to reduce maintenance of the facility, to monitor consumption, and to optimise resources. And whether you're a state government, hospital operator, facility manager, builder engineer or plumber, or product specifier, on a new or existing facility, we all need to collaborate together to deliver healthy and sustainable water in hospitals. Now, just like you, Enware is all too familiar with hospital facilities, and there are over 200,000 hospital-acquired infections in hospitals around Australia, accounting for 7,000 deaths, 2 million extra bed days, and over $1 billion. Now, we're not saying all of these are contributed to unhealthy water, but hospital tap water is described as the most overlooked, important, and controllable source of hospital and healthcare acquired infections. While delivery of healthy water and sustainable hospitals is important, it's also important to NWER. We estimate that across the country, 80% of hospitals trust NWER's product suite for a number of reasons. Having served the health industry for over 85 years, NWER is familiar with the challenges of the sector faces. With such a large scale footprint, we're in touch with the evolving needs of end users and do everything we can to enhance their experience. To evolve with the needs of Australians across multiple sectors, we're investing in innovation. We've been investing in innovation since we were founded in 1937. As you can see, NWER proudly invests in R&D, and with a dedicated team of engineers, we'll soon follow with our dedicated learning and training centre. And great to hear that the industry is putting such an emphasis on learning and training. Our commitment to innovation ensures NWER has an unrivaled technical and engineering capability that has been recognised by Good Design Awards consecutively over the last 8 years. The biggest shift over the past 5 to 10 years is around sustainability, and more importantly, in hospitals. How do we address this at NWER? We continue investing in R&D and evolve with the changing needs of the industry, creating products that deliver sustainability without compromise on health outcomes. The story behind the taps. Water end use is the main consumer in facilities, with 271 litres per hospital bed daily. This represents the highest daily usage when compared to other industries, including aged care, education, commercial, and other industries. Usage in amenities often includes interventions required for water risk management planning, such as flushing Fridays and thermal flushing. So flushing Friday is where facilities will dedicate Friday and they'll advise the cleaning staff that and this is a common practice in Victoria, where they'll advise the cleaning staff to on a Friday afternoon go around and every tap is open. Whether it's been used in that week or not, every tap in the whole facility is open. And that's the only way that they can guarantee that they don't have stagnation issues, which is potentially Legionella and other waterborne diseases. With the best intentions, we all try to reduce the water usage for environmental reasons. However, some of these actions have unintended consequences in delivering healthy water. And part of that comes through low flow stagnation of reducing the wells rating, high wells rating tapware. Now, what we can do is we can take control and adopt a holistic solution, create a comprehensive risk management plan, invest in technology and make data-driven decisions, update infrastructure and gain insight into fixtures, usage and performance. Our approach at NWER is holistic, with dependable products, with patient-centric design, dependable durability, technologically advanced, connectable capability, reliable in high-risk environments. Sustainable solutions. So these are end-to-end water solutions designed to reduce the water usage, improve sustainability, optimises costs, mitigates risk, and remains consistently compliant across the range of guidelines and legislative pieces around the country. With a proven performance for over 85 years, we track usage, identify risks, trigger alerts, with actionable insights and data-driven decisions. Our research and development is all about continuous improvement and setting new benchmarks. Evolves with the needs of the market and connected to what's water technologies, create global best practice. So our hero for health is our SmartFlow system. So SmartFlow is designed to collect, originally started in New South Wales. There's a requirement in New South Wales to provide monthly temperature checks. So this system was designed to automatically provide monthly temperature checks. So in that, we're monitoring the temperature across a facility of all TMVs and able to provide that automatically. What we quickly realised that this information is really valuable. We can also utilise it to understand stagnation, and then further delving deeper is to understand all the way through down to fixtures and what that means. And I've got a case study shortly to show you. And what it does is it reduces the stagnation and infection risk, get rid of flushing Fridays. So we know that 80% of outlets are used in a health facility. We just don't know where they are. Or more importantly, we don't know where the ones are that haven't been used. So this actually allows us to direct maintenance staff to have interventions that are directly related to reducing stagnation. And as a result, saves up to 65% in operating costs of labour to deliver the water risk management plan. With greater insights to the performance of valves and outlets, we actually see a 50% reduction in maintenance and enhance hygiene outcomes and sustainability outcomes. Further on that, so we're using this technology, we're partnering with Sydney Water, Western Sydney Local Health District, and Reed Environmental, who are a water consultant. And we're actually doing a deep dive within the Southwest Sydney Local Health District on modelling exactly where the water usage is within a hospital. We have two buildings, one new, one existing, side by side, and we're going to go through and really have some good outcomes. So really looking forward to see what that happens, and we'd love to come back next year sometime and share those findings with you. So install with confidence and satisfying the ecosystem of a health facility. Now, there are a lot of players that become involved. I'm sure Tom is well aware of it, how many people are involved in building a hospital. And we've got from state government who are after reliable, compliant and innovation end-to-end solutions, optimising costs and endures the demands of high-risk settings. Hospital operators are about reliability, compliance and innovation of end-to-end solutions around optimising costs and endures in these settings. Facility managers, whether they're private facility managers by the state or third-party professional corporate facility managers, it's about timely intelligence, creating alerts to potential risks, reducing downtime and minimising the risks of infectious outbreaks. Then there's service agents, specifiers and consultants such as yourselves, builders and plumbers, all the way through to the end users and clinicians. For them, it's really about delivering healthy water, reducing the infection of risks, and for us and our families that are in hospital, about getting home and getting back to our families. And enhances the overall user experience. Anyone that's been in hospital, I'm sure everyone has at some point, the best thing of coming out of surgery is having a shower or having a glass of water. And the thing that's absolutely critical is knowing that that water is safe and won't harm you more than what you were when you went in. So I'd like to leave you with a case study that we're building currently at the moment, which is the new Footscray Hospital in Victoria. And in the words of Dave Newen, the operations manager down there, said that we turn to Enware to provide a solution that addresses our specific challenges without compromising health and safety and sustainability. So the challenge was to deliver visibility on 2,000 TMVs and 5,000 outlets in real time. Enable weekly stagnation reporting to every outlet, monthly temperature confirmation to every TMV, as required by their water risk management plan. You may or may not be aware, but each state has slightly different legislation and guidelines of how they achieve healthy water. And in Victoria, they have to provide a water risk management plan. and their water risk management plan was stipulated as that. And to raise the industry standards in cost-effective and in a sustainable manner. The solution was to undertake the current methodology and understand their practices and the operational practices, develop and co-design and deliver an integrated engineering solution to meet the water risk management plan as mentioned before, and paired with engineers with NWARE's compatible clinical tapware and TNVs to leverage the smart flow insights into usage and performance. And the outcome, we met this industry standard of the water risk management plan, which is now quickly becoming industry best practice for health facilities. Exceeding the Australian health facility benchmarks by reducing non-compliance and hospital-acquired infection risks, improve operational efficiency and reduce labour costs by 80%, and reduce water usage by 80% for this facility. For this facility with such a large infrastructure, we were looking at saving well over $1.5 million a year in labour costs and over 2.5 million litres of water every year, when their only other method of confirming that they had zero stagnation risk was a flushing Friday. So what's possible? Recently, NWARE was acquired by Watts Water Technologies. And they're expanding capability, expands NWARE's capability to deliver to our clients in increasing capability, and now anything's possible. It's around healthy water and sustainable hospitals. So we're enhancing the water infrastructure, fixture performance, monitoring capability with hygiene compliance, sustainability outcomes, health for patients and user experience, to reduce stagnation, reduce infection risk, reduce the water usage by 80%, reducing bed block and getting people out of hospital and back with their families, reducing the labour costs, the ever rising costs of maintaining these facilities, with better insights into maintenance. Now, and there's a differentiator there around maintenance costs and facility management. Maintenance costs are around, of a large complex facility, being able to diagnose the poor user experience, which may be a patient in room 35 who complained to the nurse they didn't have a hot enough shower. By the time it comes back to the maintenance staff and they come back in to investigate, the conditions that created that environment are now past, and then they go through a diagnostics of trying to understand what that is. They say, no, there was no problem, until a month later when it comes and occurs again. What we're finding is that with really good data, the maintenance team can actually go and investigate, was it a hot water supply issue? Was it a tap issue? Exactly what's going on. And remove flushing Fridays actively by 80%. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Oh.
Have we got time? Maybe no time.
Right in the very front. Hang on.
Where do you stand on the chlorination and sterilisation that's required in a brand new facility?
Okay. By the code, it's not, that's not exactly there. So what you got to watch is the unintended outcomes of your actions. So we have all sorts of, and chlorination and sterilisation, UV, they're all methods that can be used within a water risk management plan. So it's not one or the other, but so what's difficult is there are always unintended outcomes of adding chemicals, and other water is obviously an organic material. It's you can't sterilize it to a place that it's going to be, can't sterilize it safe, but they may be appropriate. But we have heard of unintended outcomes that come along and degrade other infrastructure assets such as drainage and supply lines.
The current requirement to sterilise something is, to the code, is 50 parts per million of free chlorine. 50 parts per 50. Pardon?
For a tank, not applied water.
But it goes from the tank. I'm still licking my wounds from Adelaide Hospital,
Right.
where they annihilated 4 of my tanks because they filled it to 50 parts per million and pumped it through the hospital.
And I'm sure the guys in the Adelaide Hospital are ruining the same thing. That, and I don't know that specific case, but the damage that can sometimes do in trying to chlorinate the water to a safe level degrades assets. And there's a lot of variable factors that come into that, the maintenance of that chlorine, how many organics it interacts with, the temperature, the time in pipe work. There's a range of different factors. So it's not the be all and end all would be my answer. So stick up for yourself, and I agree with you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Or stagnation and the definition of stagnation, what are the boundary constraints of that? How stagnant is stagnant?
That's a really good question. There's more and more testing being done by some really good scientists that we work with, especially around Flinders University and Harriet Wiley and others that are doing VA Sciences are doing a lot of that work. And it's around temperature over time. The longer that the water sits stagnant at a viable temperature, the shorter the time period. So there's the latest research is coming out that it may be as little as 3 or 4 days is actually creates increase in cultures and other things. So we're working with various facilities around the country. I think you've got varying risks on your water chemistry, your temperature, and stagnation. You look in areas such as Darwin and the Northern Territory, we've got elevated cold water temperature, we've got high turbidity in the wet season, and stagnation that sits in there. They're looking at a 3-day stagnation period. And same as in Perth, we've got similar clients looking at 3-day stagnation, and so it's flushing twice a week. So these numbers elevate of water savings. I think that when we look around the country, that's why we're getting a very variable guidelines around the country, because it's actually moving more towards, you need a water risk management plan that reduces the risk, and it's not up to guidelines or legislation to tell you what that should be, because every facility is different.
And then have the systems that you sort of implemented and whatnot given consideration to like a daisy chain effect to reduce the amount of water wastage, sort of the systems of rehab and Vega, for example, sell on the market?
There's we are looking at that, and we love to work with anyone in the room on some of those systems. We're working on those at the moment. It may be as far as flushing into a in-wall tongue dish. It may be as far as flushing into the toilet. There's benefits of both. The tongue dish version, you could take it to grey water. When we're getting into greater insights into water usage of a health facility, then we look at how we can manage stagnation, and we can come up with some other innovations of how that works. I know Dean Martin from NWare, who's been with us for 29 years, has seen huge, he's in the room, seen huge shifts in innovation, and that's the next place, is how do we get healthy water and maintain our sustainability requirements, because flushing water down the drain every day is non-sustainable for anybody.
And then the last boring question. Other than the boring old Legionella, what other sort of pathogens do you see the aerosoling from a water supply?
We're looking at golden staph, E. coli, Pseudomonas. There's they call it the dirty dozen. There are a dozen of them, and I'm sorry that I can't remember them all, but that's a number of them. Legionella is actually one of the most benign of them. So for somebody to really get like you can get infected and it's not an enjoyable experience with Legionella, but unless you're aged or unless you're infirmed or maybe in an oncology unit or a burns unit, you're not going to be, you probably won't die of Legionella, but you will if you get infected with Pseudomonas and other nasty flesh-eating bacterial infections that are quite nasty. So yeah, there's a lot of others. Legionella is the cool one that gets all the headlines, but the other stuff is when you get those, you really have to be aware of waterborne diseases.
Yeah, I'll be really quick. A lot of subjects on innovation, so I thought I'd ask the question. With the way the digital technology is going and the data that you can gather and the information you get live, do you foresee a future where TMVs will no longer need to be manually tested and have that kind of maintenance schedule within these types of facilities?
I'd love to have a chat with you about the change of guidelines, that if we could make it an allowance that with 24/7 monitoring every 1.5 seconds to within half a degree, I don't know why you got to go around and service the thing and confirm that it's working.
Yeah, might be very unpopular with the plumbers in the room,
But I totally agree with you, but it's really important that there's a shortage of trades, right? We get them doing the work that we need them to do. We don't get them going around doing stuff that we can use technology to advance further. There's a clause that talks about innovation, so we'd like to have a chat with you. Thanks, guys.
All right, we're wrapping up there. Thank you very much for Alan. Thank you very much. We're going to jump back to the trivia for a little bit. We've got a few prizes to go away, so bear with me for a sec. I've got more questions. This is a quick way to do this. Really there?
Yeah, leave it on that slide.
No deal. You won't come in, kid. Give me a sec.
So while you're doing that, I didn't forget, if anyone would put out a display of any Lactoblen valve over here that's lead free, 12 means when you're done, come and have a look. Thank you.
Thank you. And we also like to thank everyone that's donated some prizes as well tonight. We'll read them out when they come. We'll also take some pictures as well from the people who donated some prizes with the prize winners. Here we go. Done deal. All right, everyone on their feet. Where I was up to. Last question, but is that right? Okay. Everyone ready? After you drink alcohol, it takes your brain 6 minutes to start reacting to it. True or false? Heads or tails? Yes, does that sound right? You reckon? Too wrong. Too long. And that's wrong. So it's actually true. 6 minutes. All right. Where's my mate Tom? This is one for Tommy. All right. Steak contains more protein than a regular sized broccoli. Oh my God, you've all sat down. Okay, say again. Steak contains more protein than a regular sized broccoli. True or false? Did you hear that, Tom? You're selected. Can't cross your arms. That doesn't mean anything, man. Okay, it's actually false. Sit down. Listen to this one. This is actually a true question, and I might say it wrong. Spaghettio is the singular word for a single piece of spaghetti. Is that true or false? Spaghettio. Right? It's actually true. Right, I'm going to skip a few because I've actually got a load. I'm really impressed with the people who are doing this. Actually, low. Shit. Fuck. Why's my back here so long? I think, hold on, just a back here. Okay, I'm going to skip a few. Done this one before, but I might catch someone up. Who's still standing? Do you? Oh. Okay. You ready? The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. True or false? The unicorn. Because we're running out of time. It's true. Well done, Matt. Come on, get your prize, mate. Hey, Matt, how would you like a Riho bag? What would you like, mate? Is there anything that Matt can't have, by the way?
Those with the prize.
Is that okay? Who's it come from? Tasman Tanks.
Get a photo.
Is that okay? You good? Yeah. Oh, there's more. Let's go to share it on this table. Thank you. Yeah, bear with me a sec. And that. We've actually got an advancement of the old, remember the old roly-poly thing? We've actually got a digital version, so it's exciting. Well, your names are in it. We've still got some really good gifts. And then you're going to go up. It's not catching up. Making good time. It'll be okay. Next time I do this, I'll plan some things in between. Yes, I know. Look this out. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I see the talk now, I don't need to give it.
By the way, I was really impressed with these slides.
Oh.
Here we go. Okay, this is the main event. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Please welcome to the stage Dr. Annette Davison.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, Tom, for inviting me. Oh, have I gone the wrong way? Yep. It's catching. I've actually called my talk, Are You Distributing Uncertainty? Because it will all become clear when I start to talk about the definition of risk. So just keep that in mind. So today I'm going to be talking about understanding and managing water hygiene risk, and also what's dear to my heart, the governance in reticulated water systems. So I started life in Yorkshire originally, and then went to Liverpool and did my first degree in microbiology. And then I came out to Australia and did a PhD in bioremediation, so the biodegradation of organochlorines. So I studied life really as a microbial ecologist and have morphed into public health. So after my PhD, which was looking at contaminated sites and how you could clean them up using bacteria, I figured, well, I knew about the science and the contamination side of things, but I didn't really understand the regulation. So I went back and did a master's in environmental law. So that's where the governance side of things really appeals to me, and how you manage that through the water supply system, all the way through from the source of your water, all the way through to what Alan talked about as well with your end user. So that's what I'd like to talk to you about today. So just to give a bit of an overview of what I'm going to be covering, I'd like to talk about how water touches everything, what can happen when things go wrong. So I've got three short case studies to talk about. I'd like to then talk about the complexities in water management and how we can use risk to better understand how we can manage water. Then what I've been finding, so RiskEdge is a consulting business, and we've been in action for probably about 13 or 14 years now. So I'm one of the co-CEOs. My colleague Sarah Loader, who's at the back, is the other co-CEO. What we often find, where does it go?
I was trying to be discreet.
No, you can find the whole. What we find in the work that we do is often that people have a misunderstanding of risk. So what I'd like to do is talk about what is risk, and then provide some examples of what we can use to bring together a common language to better understand that. So, and then I'll go into what is the definition of risk, and look at risk in a bit of a nutshell as well. So Alan and others have talked about having a water risk management plan in place. But what does that actually look like? What should it cover? So I'll be looking at that just at a very high level. And the other thing that's really dear to my heart as well is I always say in risk, the best thing you can do is understand your context. So we had the question about, like how much chlorine do you use? What sort of disinfecting agents do you use? But the important thing is to make sure that you understand the context to get the right risk management option. So that's why I find context is really, really important. Not so much the risk assessment, but the risk context. So that's where we might be looking at different objectives. So the competing objectives, different stakeholders. There's always a bunch of stakeholders. And we know that it's easier to manage things you can kick like pipes than it is to manage people. So it's important to know who your stakeholders are. And then I'll just wrap up at the end with some of the findings from the talk. So water really does touch everything. It's a really essential component of business and industry. So you'll all be involved in providing products and services for all parts of things, like whether it's energy or health or aged care, urban water services or agriculture. It's everywhere. We cannot function without water, and it's very easy to not get it right. It's really fundamental to the supply chain, including how you actually distribute that water. And it can be a real risk for business if you don't manage it properly. So the question I always ask people is, are you risk ready? Do you really understand, your products and services and how they can impact on your end users as well? So I thought I'd just go over 3 short case studies and talk about the importance from understanding water risk. So in 2014, in Flint, Michigan, they decided to swap over their water source and go to the Flint River, which was a highly corrosive water source. Now, what happened was they could have added an additive to the water to make it less corrosive, but they chose not to do that as a cost-cutting measure. So what happened is highly corrosive water then flowed through the distribution system and ended up stripping lead out of the assets. And so what happened was many people, including pregnant women, infants, were exposed to lead in the water. And that actually is still going on to today. There've been numerous court cases around this, certainly a lot of liability out there. It's a really, really tragic thing. It should have been, it was understood that they chose not to do the right thing. So that was one, so that was lead. Then we've got just recently actually contaminated water supplies hitting a couple of ships. And this was caused by incorrect plumbing that what actually wasn't informed to the powers that be until a couple of years later. And so the serving officers on those ships are actually having to drink bottled water. And then finally, another lead incident, so elevated lead levels detected in water in a North Queensland hospital. So in this particular case, authorities are unsure of the source of the lead, but believed it was coming through the copper fittings. So that's something that still needs to be teased out. And we often get called in to do a lot of root cause analyses on these types of things to try and identify, well, what was the cause and how can we prevent it happening in the future? So for anybody who's interested, we have a free resource on our Risk Edge website called Incidents Online. So you can actually hop on there and we have a searchable database for a lot of water quality incidents that have occurred, and we're adding to that regularly as well. Now, the water cycle is extremely complex to manage. So there are lots of different sources that you can get your water from these days, whether it's recycled stormwater, recycled sewage, you know, the traditional bog standard, getting your water from a dam, treating it, then, you know, sending it down your distribution system off to your end user. It's extremely complex managing an urban water system. So actually, how do you manage your risk? Well, there are lots of standards that we can use to manage risk depending on your end use. So we've got ISO 9001, which is all about quality, ISO 22000, food safety, ISO 14001, which is the environmental standard. But I like to call this the Lord of the Rings standard. It's ISO 31000, the risk management standard. It's the standard to rule them all. So if we have one standard, we can start to talk a common language, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, so what actually is risk? So there should have been another wonderful picture come up there as well. So the issue with risk is that we used to think of risk as being just negative, but it's not. It's all about the impact of uncertainty on achieving your objectives. It can either be positive or negative, but we tend to think more about it being negative. So that's why I talked at the beginning about, are you distributing uncertainty? Do you know about all of the objectives all along your supply chain and whether you're actually meeting them or not? Okay, so if we look at the context, delivery of your fit-for-purpose products and service requires an understanding of your objectives, so what you're trying to meet, an understanding of the hazards and the risks involved. And I'd just pick up on that word hazard because in the water industry, which is our main background, we talk about hazard being the contaminant in the water. So the thing that can get into the water or the thing that can proliferate in the water. So that could be like Mycobacterium abscessus, Naegleria fowleri, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. There's a whole bunch of things that they could be. Plus, you know, your bog standard things like E. coli and those types of things as well. Then there's the implementation of reliable control measures to manage those hazards and also the risks, so the events that could occur. Now we know that water supply chain risk management and risk in itself is increasing as well. So as we're moving to a world where we're getting increasing climate variability, we're having to deal with more and more things like issues with water warming up in pipes, with chlorine residuals not lasting until the end of systems, that type of thing. So we know that our water supply chain risk is increasing, and risk management itself then is also increasing. And I've already mentioned that, you know, the many different frameworks in place. So which ones are we actually going to use? So each part of an organisation might have an impact on another part's responsibilities. So there can be immense crossover these days, and not only in the design, but then how you have different business units and how I'm sure your organisations aren't like this, but some organisations we deal with actually have silos and they never speak to each other. So that can also bring a source of risk to what you're trying to do. So then which framework are you going to use? So hopefully we're going to come to something that will give us a common language. And that's why I really like ISO 31000, because it makes sense then to ensure that all parties in the supply chain are speaking that common language. So you don't need to worry about, well, am I worried about the environmental standard? Am I worried about the quality standard? Am I worried about the food safety standard? When it comes to it, at the end of the day, it's all about managing risk. And that's why ISO 31000, I think, is a great standard. Well, that was my image. So what we can say, we can actually do this put simply. So it's about understanding what can go wrong and where. So what does your system look like? What products and services do you have? What requirements do they have to meet, and what impacts can happen? So that's the understanding bit. Then we've got the managing bit. So are events actually controlled? So what controls do you have to have in place? Now, there'll be a range of controls that you have to think about. Some will be preventive, some will be detective. So that's, again, part of what Alan was talking about, making sure that you've got good data collection. Some will be corrective. So once you've identified it, what do you do to make sure that you can contain it? Some will be informative and some will be supportive. So you need to understand the controls that you've got to hand to better understand how you're going to manage your risk. So are there any gaps, and could you actually be doing better? And then lastly, it's about checking. So how would you know? How would you actually know if you have a risk? So what monitoring do you have in place? Have you got something that's where you're looking at the past performance? Are you looking at the present performance? And increasingly, some of the work that we've been doing is in developing algorithms to help you predict where your risk might be going. So, for instance, a Legionella risk algorithm that doesn't detect Legionella, but it detects whether your system's about to go into a phase where Legionella could proliferate. Okay, so let's have a look at the context now. So when you're looking across what you do, there'll be a whole heap of things that you have to think about, and that will be from planning or concept all the way through to operations. And that will be things like preliminary design, detailed design, construction, and also commissioning, and then finally operations. And so you should be looking at risk all along that chain from planning to operations. So I'm not sure how many of you get involved in things like HAZOPs and chairs and that type of thing, but all of these different types of risk workshops you should be doing all the way through to make sure that you're assessing and managing risk across all areas for a broad range of objectives. So some of the objectives that we might be looking at are things like health objectives. So you might have some health acts or contracts that you have to meet. Environment, whether you've got the Protection of the Environment Act. Commercial, obviously, is really important. Whether there's some sort of amenity objectives we have to meet, and also process risks as well. So if we look at stakeholders, compliance and governance, if we have a look at our supply chain, really it's going from source to collection, to transport, to treatment, to distribution, and finally to our endpoint. And there'll be a whole bunch of stakeholders that we have to understand across that supply chain. So it might be, you know, Ministry of Health or a plumbing regulator or a building regulator. Now they're going to have, all of your stakeholders are going to have their own objectives that they need to be meeting as well. And there'll be different instruments that you have to meet, whether it's a building code or whether it's some sort of like Health Act or even contractual requirements. But what I wanted to just dwell on a little bit is what it could look like from a governance perspective. So down the bottom of the slide, you can see I've got the little diamond, which is the handover point. And I've also got the circle, which is the water quality monitoring point. So imagine you had some hospital premises. And imagine you've got water coming in, which is usually from one of the metropolitan water utilities, or if you're in the regions, it will be someone like an Orange City Council or a Bathurst Regional Council. So you've got water coming in at the reticulated water supply. But what happens at the meter, at that handover point, we find that often water quality is not monitored at that handover point or not understood. So you're designing within your premise, not having understood the water quality that's coming in. And then once you do have your system in place, how are you actually monitoring that water coming in to make sure it doesn't affect your assets, the assets that you've designed? In a lot of cases, we've seen there might be a treatment contractor on site if you need to treat the water to a higher level. So the treatment contractor will have a handover point between the hospital premise manager or the facility manager and what they need. There'll also be another handover point after the treatment contractor. So there'll be some contracted water quality requirements at the output of the treatment contractor. Then that goes off to the hospital buildings. It will go to different types of areas, such as the operating suites, any specific medical equipment, birthing suites. So these are all places where we've got at-risk individuals. So have you made sure that you've properly designed in monitoring and sampling points at each part of the system? And then you'll likely also have some air conditioning units as well. So your cooling towers. They will also have a certain requirement for water quality. So have you designed water quality monitoring at that particular handover point? And it's usual that you get a duly qualified person who's responsible for looking after your cooling towers, and they'll probably have contracted out their monitoring. So how's that done? How's that also being fed back? So that just gives you a bit of an overview. And then we'd have our parties at each of the handover points. So we've got a handover point. We've got the from and the to, and then what instrument is governing that and what's required. So across all of this, you should be really looking at quality, quantity, maintenance, ownership, and operations if you're going to fully understand your water quality and water hygiene risk and how that's managed. So just to wrap up, so you really need to understand your context. You need to make sure that people are trained in risk literacy. Make sure you've got the right inputs for a fit for purpose water hygiene risk assessment. So that's all about understanding your water quality, but also the stakeholders and any instruments that you have to meet. You need to be confident in the quality of those data inputs. What can happen to create a water quality hygiene impact on your objectives. So again, that means understanding what your objectives are, understanding what events could happen and how often they happen, how bad is it when it happens, so what the impact is, undertaking root cause analyses afterwards so you don't end up doing this again, and making sure you keep an eye on what's going on in the industry to avoid repeats. So we've got quite a few free blog articles and things available on our site, so please feel free to hop over and have a look. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, thank you. Any questions?
You're all ready to go.
Oh, Roger.
This is not a question, Annette. It's a small anecdote. As many of you know, I've moved to the country. I want to paint a little picture for you. It's not to do with particulated water, but picture a country road, two young boys coming home, bit of up and down hills, few straight stretches. One's got a brand new car. His brother's playing cat and mouse with him. They have an accident. One of the boys ends up in a field or a paddock and drives away. His brother ends up in the paddock in a crumpled brand new car. Because he is injured and he ended up in contaminated water by the side of the road in a part of a creek, he wasn't taken to hospital fast enough. He ended up having or being a double amputee below the knee. He survived, but the surgeons had to, because of the effect of the contaminated water on his wounds, had to take more of his legs off, and now he's a double amputee up near his hip. So contaminated water is a really, really critical thing to consider. It's got nothing to do with the hospital. It's got nothing to do with reticulated water. That's an example of what can happen. And that's a real tragedy for a fine young man establishing really successful business in a country town. And now their family is destroyed.
So I'm really sorry to hear that story. But it's a great example of how we must never, ever forget the importance of water quality. We tend to think about getting water from A to B, but we forget about the quality of that water and keeping the quality of that water correct until it gets to its end point.
Couple questions. What do you think the confusion is between the language between water quality and water hygiene that we should now probably start to consider between aerosol and chemistry?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I actually prefer fit for purpose, like fit for whatever endpoint you're going to use that water for. Traditionally, we've used water quality. But I think you're correct because it doesn't convey other parts of water that we need for it to be fit for purpose. So it's not just quality, but safety we need to consider as well. So water quality, I think, is a bit of a misnomer, but traditionally that's just what we've used. But yeah, I think water hygiene is a much better term. Yeah.
And would I be speculating to say that when it comes to what a network utility operator is sort of defines fit for purpose is on the drinking side and on the chemistry side, but they don't give any consideration to aerosol and pseudomonas and bacteria and other pathogens that one can end up with respiratory infections from showering and the aerosols within a building?
It's changing because we definitely are including things like Legionella and the Naegleria fowleri now in risk assessments. So even though, if you think about the governance, so water utilities are responsible for the water quality up to the meter. But that's not to say that they can abrogate their responsibility in terms of understanding how it's going to be used in the premise. But so part of that is making sure that they understand their stakeholders and what water is going to be used for as well. But it's definitely changing, and especially with climate change as well, we're experiencing more higher temperatures in distribution systems that we have to be aware of. Yeah.
So really that aerosoling and hygiene becomes like elevated risk to see or real within a building or office that use for distributed fixtures.
For yes, for drinking water. Certainly aerosolization is definitely on our radar where things like recycled water is used. and you're going to get aerosols generated from irrigation systems, for instance. So we might have, and depending on how much you want to spend and how many barriers you want to put in place as well, we might decide that we could have a lower water quality, but actually have a buried irrigation system, so we're not exposing people to aerosols. So there are quite a few ways that we can work with to manage the risk.
And I should also thank you for helping our working group along with Freetown and Stephen. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. Thanks. Yeah, that's correct.
A lot of the reuse water is actually used for toilet flushing and washing machines and stuff as well. And toilet flushing is one of the main areas where aerosol occurs, where people are breathing that water in.
So we've got several guidelines around recycled water in Australia. So we've got the Australian Guidelines Water Recycling 2006, 2008, 2009. And it depends where you're getting your source water from as to which guideline applies. Also, the end use you're going to be using the water for as well as to what guideline applies. So if it's going to be used within the house, so in dual reticulation systems, we have to treat the water to an extremely high standard, pretty much drinking water standards. Yeah.
Because obviously they never put a CP on, so.
At all for Australia, I speculated.
You'd be surprised, Tom. There are actually a lot of places that we treat the water to a standard where you could consume, I think, up to 2 litres a day. That's the standard in the quantitative microbial risk assessments in terms of an input. So if you get cross connections, for instance, it would take into account that. That's why we have to have such high quality going in. Yeah.
Any other questions? Nothing online? Thanks, Annette. Thank you. Thank you for our applause for that. Thank you very much. Oh, we're just plugging the next event again because if anyone's going down to Adelaide, Tasmania, or Canberra, then please reach out. Now this is going to be the technical itch. It doesn't get technical itch, and my friend Kate can help me. So I'm going to press this button. Oh, what happens? So we've got the digital wheel of fortune. It's spinning on my screen.
It's not spinning up there though. Hang on.
Transfer. So we've got some more gifts here, courtesy of our affiliates. We've got 1, 2, 3, well, a few. So we're going to spin the wheel. We get a few people up to it's not working.
No, it's the operator. I just can't figure out how to hide that, so I can get
This one.
Huh? I don't know, did they? It's this thing.
So everyone that's registered here tonight is going to be on screen in a sec. Oh, look at that! Oh my gosh. I was really impressed when I seen this. What we got?
Oh God.
What does it say?
Guy. Is he gone? He was here.
You gotta be in it to win it. And then again. Remove. That's the way it is, right? It's exciting, don't you think?
Oh, he's not here either.
This will be here for like an hour.
Well, hang on. Maybe someone from Oricon could take it for him.
No.
All right.
No, that's not how it works, kid.
I tried.
You got me here. This is why you got to stay till the end, get your CPD points. Oh.
He's not here either.
How cool is this, by the way? What do you reckon? Oh, it's a fix. Is he still here?
Yeah, is there?
Yay! Congratulations, Jordy. Have you come, mate? What would you like, mate? You got to pick your own one. Go for the wine. Do the right thing. Hey, well done, Jordy. Congratulations, Jordy.
Wine can't run. Oh, oh.
Oh, Adam James.
There.
Hey, congratulations. Come on down. Yeah, no deal. Select anything from table, apart from the table. You'll get some pictures afterwards as well with the guys who did there. Well done, buddy. Can you hear it?
He's not here either.
No, spin again. This is why we're telling everyone, if you're going to register, you need to come, right?
Neil's here. Who was here? There you are.
Hey, come on down. Let's get price in here. I'm not trying to influence you, but you pick them off the line. Relax, man. Congratulations. What we still got? One boo. Is he still here? No way. Oh, that's a thing. Thank you for sorting this out. So we've only got two or three. We've got three left, yeah?
I think she's here.
Mal Irvin.
It's not here, right? Oh, I don't know about David.
Is David here?
Right. Oh, God.
You too.
We're respinning.
What?
We're respinning. He doesn't get a prize.
No deal. No.
Oh,
I haven't seen that part. Is he here?
he's not here. Sean and Lewis are here though, so it would be a tiebreaker.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to go in the back this afternoon, aren't they?
Mark Brown.
Mark here. That's not on pace, right? Nice, sir. Get it, Bill, get it. Please. Well done. Okay, two more spins. We're nearly there.
Sarah?
Still right here.
Yeah.
Hey. We're on a roll. Congratulations. How do you feel? What are you gonna pick? This is a thing, and this is also a thing. There's an envelope, or is that?
It's a gift card or something else.
Oh, that's my business card.
Oh, I didn't see how much. Oh, it's $100.
Yeah.
Alrighty, one more spin and we're done. Are you feeling lucky?
Ooh. No?
Jacqueline? No?
Lewis? So, yeah.
Yeah, hey, congratulations. Woo-hoo.
Thank you. Is it? The rear find, what is that? Pepper jack. And look, it's all. Oh, olive. Yeah. Done deal. How do you feel?
Pretty cool. Alrighty, thank you very much. That's the last meeting of the year. Thanks to everyone online. Thank you for attending. We will be doing a survey at the start of next year as well. And we're always looking to try and improve what we're doing. And we want your feedback. So thanks for all attending. Sorry for bringing a little bit more. We've had 3 great presenters. And also the guys from the Innovation Centre as well. So thank you. I'm sure there'll be a few more drinks behind the bar after this. And thanks for attending and have a great Christmas. Thank you.